It's Waterpolo Champions League time. The third round brings more wins from Novi Beograd and Ferencvaros. Barceloneta wins at Savona. Olympiacos in deep problems after another loss. Here are the results of round 3. Novi Beograd Jadran 17-8. Marseille Olympiacos 12-7. Savona Barceloneta 10-14. Fradi Ferencvaros 7-18. In front of the sold-out crowd, Marseille had a difficult task ahead to beat one of last season's Final Four ticket holders, the Greek powerhouses Olympiacos. Level on points with 3 each respectively, both sides knew they were at the halfway point. And that every point is crucial in the pursuit for the final phase. An unchanged side for Milos Stepanovic, whereas Hervoy Kolyanin had to do without Alexandros Papanastasio and Konstantinos Gouvis. A modest first half offered 2 goals on each side. Dimitrios Dimou fired the first goal into Petar Teshanovic's net. But just 13 seconds later, the home side answered. Marseille had the first power play opportunity and, thanks to Daniel Angel, turned it into the first goal. Konstantinos Karkaris was next in line to score with a numerical advantage. As for the home side, the captain Ugo Corsiliad levelled the score once again, 2-2 after 8 minutes. Too early for a sign of a slightly more comfortable advantage. Angel opened the score sheet of the second period after almost a minute and a half, after quite a lot of missed shots from both sides. The Croatian centre Luka Lončar scored through another man-up situation for yet another tie, 3-3. Goal after goal, until Marseille got the upper hand, the first +2 advantage of the game. Thomas Vernou and Ugo Corsiliad yet again got the high ground for the French side. 65 seconds before the end of the quarter, Ioannis Alfragis fired another power play shot worthy of just a goal of a difference. But the home side's captain had more to say before the half-time mark. The first penalty shot of the game for Corsiliad's 3rd goal of the game. He ended up as one of the top scorers of the match, but there's no surprises there. 7-5, 16 more minutes left. The least entertaining quarter, precision-wise. Alexandre Bouet broke the deadlock of the penultimate period. The biggest advantage so far. But Olympiacos wasn't giving up. And this time, it was Andro Bosilier's action shot goal that gave the Greek side a little bit more hope of a turnaround. Vernou's extra player attack shot kept the distance at a 3-goal bay. 8 more minutes to go. Everything was going according to the plan for Milos Stepanovic. The crowd was on its feet. +3 turned to +4 real quick at the start of the last quarter. Andrea Perlanovic found the back of Emmanuel Zedevas' net. And it was pretty clear that the points were staying on the French coast. Bouet added another one to his tally. The only precise player from the guest side was Gergo Zelanki. And mind you, that was after almost 9 minutes since the last time that Tesanovic had to take the ball out of his net. The drought that contributed to their defeat, indisputably. Vernou had the last word with the 12th goal for Marseille. Number 7 stayed in the guest side's goal score column. A second home win in a row for Marseille in the quarter-final stage. But there is still I's to be dotted and T's to be crossed. We only passed the midpoint. Beating Olympiacos in round 2 in Piraeus was a great achievement for Novi Beograd. They had a chance to build on that big win in the third round against Jadran Split, who came to Belgrade without a point after 2 losses in the first 2 rounds. They had to win to stay in the fight for the final 4. That was a difficult task against Novi Beograd. 2 teams met twice already in the regional league. Novi Beograd won both games after penalties. The hosts started well in this game. Martinovic scores the first goal for Novi Beograd from the left wing. After Vucinic's exclusion, Jadran equalises. Marinic Kragic from the wing for 1-1. Novi Beograd started creating problems for Jadran. Their shots from 6 metres were finding ways through the Jadran defence. 3.5 minutes before the end of the first quarter, Lukic scores from outside for 4-1. That's when Jadran started to play. First, Butic surprises Glušak to reduce the deficit. Then, 1 minute and 40 seconds to go in the first quarter, Novi Beograd's defence was watching Butic prepare for the shot. Nobody came to block, and it's 4-3 at the end of the first quarter. That was the last time in this match that Jadran was close. In the second quarter, Novi Beograd scored 4 unanswered goals in a row. This one from Gladovic for 8-3 is the most impressive one, sliding away from the defenders and sending the ball past Biac. It took Jadran almost 8 minutes to score. Kudzi stopped the onslaught in the last seconds of the attack. At the half-time, Novi Beograd had a 9-4 advantage, and it was clear that Jadran's chances in this match were minimal. The Croatian champions had a decent spell at the start of the third quarter, with Zovic scoring from more than 6 metres through almost the entire defence. Novi Beograd's defence made a surprising mistake after that. Dušević was left all alone, and he uses it for 9-6. But Novi Beograd soon restored the advantage back to 5. After this nice cut from Lukic, it was 11-6. The third quarter was the only part of the game in which Jadran outscored the hosts. After Vlachopoulos was excluded, Marinic Kragic surprises Glušak for 12-8. In the last quarter, Vucinic brought Novi Beograd back to 5 goals advantage for 13-8. 3.5 minutes before the end, Marinic Kragic had a chance from 5 metres, but this penalty shot ended on the bar. Jadran surrendered after that. They have not managed to score in the last quarter. Novi Beograd scored 4 times in a row. 13 seconds before the end, Martinovic scored from an extra player attack for the final score. Novi Beograd Jadran 17-8. The Serbian champions are leading the group, still undefeated in this season of the Champions League. Savona's Olympic pool, Carlo Zanelli, was another quarter-final group stage venue. This one within Group B saw 2 teams levelled on points and also levelled on dreams of writing their final chapter of the Waterpolo season on the dreamy island in the Mediterranean Sea. Savona was deprived of the services of Luca da Monte, while Barceloneta travelled to Liguria without Roger Tahul. Pietro Figlioli got on the score sheet first after nearly 30 seconds. Vince Vigvari was the guilty party of the first penalty shot of the game. The Italian bomber didn't miss. Figlioli 1, Aguirre 0. Keep this in mind, you'll soon find out why. It didn't take long for the home side to double the lead through Lorenzo Bruni. The first man up of the match, the first assist courtesy of Daniel Merkulov. The same rule applied on the other side of the pool, albeit it wasn't the first power play for Barceloneta. Vigvari fired a fine, precise shot, and there was nothing the home side goalkeeper Nicosia could do. And there's the situation where this was pretty much the only thing he could do. It was either this or a goal. Nicosia fancied his chances of leaving the net intact from a penalty shot rather from this clash. The situations where Alvaro Granados thrives, one of them at least. Another penalty successfully taken added to his European tally. The score 2-2. Andrea Pachiliev patched up the path towards another minimal lead before the time ran out in the first quarter. 3-2 as we continue with excitement. The Spanish side's forte are definitely counter-attacks, as seen at the start of the second period. Granados sent a long ball to Vigvari, who didn't have any problem solving the problem called find the back of the net. Truth be told, the Hungarians solved it the most times of anybody, 4 in total with a 100% efficiency by the end of the match. A mini-series of 2 consecutive goals was prolonged thanks to Gergely Burian, who was found by none other than Granados. 4-3 for Barceloneta didn't last long. Savona fired back a minute after they lost the advantage. Pachiliev's action shot goal levelled the score yet again. Vigvari was next in line of penalty takers, giving Barceloneta the upper hand. You won't be surprised that that didn't last long, right? Alessandro Gulotas with another power play used his opportunity, as the Italians would say. Savona non si molla mai, and you can definitely feel that. Bernat Sanaus's extra player goal gave 5-6 to the team from Barcelona. And they had a fabulous opportunity to make it +2. If only Felipe Peroni buried this ball into the back of Nicosia's net, but the Italian got the better of it. Now watch this, a scene you don't see very often. Honestly, these kind of goals are almost endemic species. There were 6 seconds remaining before half-time. Unai Aguirre saw where Nicosia was, far off from his posts. And he used the opportunity, from one goal to another. We added the Spaniard to the scoresheet list, 5-7. The start of the penultimate quarter was a Mario Guidi show. First, it was a warning shot. The second time in a row, a perfectly used opportunity with the numerical advantage yet again to show he wasn't messing around. If there's time and space, he will try and use it. 7-7. The right triangle of Barceloneta's attack built the 8th goal. Munarith, Burian, Bustos. That's how you do it. It took a bit over half of the quarter of Barceloneta to break the deadlock. But once they did, the scale tipped in their favour. The captain, Peroni, doubled the advantage from the counter-attack. And Pachiliev added another layer of tension and uncertainty to the final 8 minutes. Before the end, we had another Figlioli-Aguirre rematch from the penalty. Face to face, and this time it was no passerà. Figlioli won, Aguirre won. The Spaniard ended the match with 13 of those in total. 8-9 with the final minutes. Sana Uzha's second attempt at the start of the fourth period kicked things off. Daniel Merkulov joined in for the Italian side. A diagonal shot from the left side with more than 6 minutes on the clock. Now 9-10. There was more than enough time to turn things around completely, or is it? The next 3 minutes looked quite different for both sides, as Barceloneta started the quest to acquire as many goals of an advantage as possible. Savona couldn't find the back of the net at all. Bustos, Vigvari from the penalty shot and Peroni were all on target for 3 in a row. Guidi's goals seemed to be the starting point. But Martin Femera sealed the win with an additional man-up goal. 14-10 for Barceloneta. It should be noted that Figlioli, Femera, Bustos and Bruni all got the bystander status in the last 8 minutes, the grand total of 30 personal fouls. A feisty match that we get to see again, but with the reversed roles on Matchday 6. In the match of the third round in Group B in Oradea, the host of the same name and the current European champion Ferencváros met. After the first 2 rounds, the Romanians were without points. In the first round, they were defeated at home by Savona and in the second away by Barceloneta. The Hungarians first beat Barceloneta at home and then Savona away. They entered this game with a combined record in all competitions of 37-0. Therefore, it was certain that the Fradi would convincingly celebrate in this match as well. Oradea didn't start badly. They equalised with a goal by Petar Velkic with an extra player. However, then there was a hurricane from the visiting team, which scored as many as 7 goals in a row. Stylianos Agriopoulos put them in the lead with an extra player. After that, Sommervogel entered the scene. In the same attack, he even defeated 2 5-metre shots, first against Filip Gardasevich and then against Ivan Gusurov. Very quickly, Gergo Fekete punished those mistakes on the other side with a field goal. By the end of the first quarter, Ferencváros had scored 2 more goals and Agriopoulos was precise for 5-1. The first 2 goals in the rest of the game were scored by Eduardo Di Soma, and already in those moments the guests actually broke the game. But that wasn't the end of the series for the Hungarians either, who further increased their lead through Gergo Fekete from the penalty. Leventi Vancic finally put an end on that, with a very nice goal from the transfer. With that, Oradea ended the streak without a goal that lasted over 12 minutes. But by the end of the first half, Balashnieki's team scored the 10th goal through Agriopoulos from the counter-attack. Of course, after such a first part, Until the end, it was only a matter of what the result of the match would end with. However, the hosts also had periods of better play, and at one point during the third quarter, they scored 3 goals in a row. Vancic scored from the counter for 12-4. They additionally reduced by Velkic with an extra player. And Gusurov rounded off the series with a goal from the penalty. But by the end of that part of the game, Ferencvaros scored 2 more goals through Disoma and Agriopoulos. All 5 goals in the last quarter were scored with an extra player. Oradia's last goal was scored by Vancic. After that, the guests scored 4 goals in a row. The first was scored by Akos Nagy. And the last one for the final 18-7 was the work of Vince Varga. Thus, Petr Kovacevic's team has practically said goodbye to the Final Four with 3 losses, and Ferencvaros is very close to qualifying for the final tournament. The winning team was led by Disoma and Agriopoulos with 4 goals each, and the most efficient for the hosts was Vancic with 3. After 3 rounds played of the quarter-final stage, most of the tickets for the Final Four have their name on it. Novi Beograd leads Group A with 3 wins. The Serbian champions are without a loss in the Champions League this season. After Marseille's win against Olympiacos, the French champions are in 2nd place. 2 losses in a row put Olympiacos in 3rd position. They're going to need a lot of luck to finish 2nd. Jadran is last without points. After 2 close defeats in the first 2 rounds, they were steamrolled by Novi Beograd in round 3. In Group B, Ferencvaros leads the race. Last season's champions are still without a loss in the entire season, 38 wins in a row in all competitions. They will finish first in Group B after big wins in the final 3 rounds against all competitors in the group. Barceloneta is 2nd, as everybody expected. They bounced back after a heavy loss against Ferencvaros in the previous round. Savona is in 3rd. The difference in quality between them and the first 2 clubs is pretty noticeable. Nobody expected Oradia to be in this round of competition, so last place in the group was not a surprise. The next round comes soon, in only 2 weeks in fact. The match everybody is expecting is in Barcelona. Ferencvaros is coming to Barcelona aiming to continue their winning streak. If the Fradi wins in Barcelona, they are through to the Final Four 2 rounds before the end. If the Fradi wins, Savona can stay in the fight for the 2nd place if they beat Oradia. On Wednesday, Novi Beograd visit Marseille. The French champions were close to victory in the first match played in Serbia, but can they stop them in the pool this time? Olympiacos needs to beat Jadran to keep hopes of the Final Four alive. That is all for this edition of the Waterpolo Champions League highlights. We'll see you in 2 weeks' time.